Thank you. All right. So in 2005, my wife, Carrie, who is our host tonight, we moved back here from living out on the West Coast in Victoria, back to the city that we grew up in and loved, in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. But we didn't come back here excited. We were a little reluctant because we were leaving a great lifestyle behind on the West Coast. And so when we came back, our approach was this. We said, a city is what you make it. And we came back to Saskatoon with this belief that we were going to create something interesting. We were going to make our own fun. If the community we wanted to be in wasn't here, we were going to build it and find those people that had that idea. So this is where our first experiment started. This was basically an abandoned old grocery store in Caswell Hill. Note the bars on the windows, plywood windows, other things boarded up. I saw this and I thought, this is great. We can do something interesting here in this old, ignored building. That's what it kind of turned into on the outside. But really, that's just to give it a life. The interesting things are not there. It's what we did on the inside. Because when Carrie and I started doing the project, we said, what do we want to have happen here? And we said, well, we're moving back to the prairies. Let's bring a prairie theme into it. And then I think maybe we had a couple of martinis and got a little far down the rabbit hole. And next thing you know, her studio is going to be a barn, and mine's a grain elevator, and the whole kitchen is a grain bin. Way down the rabbit hole. But the best part of the house is it's not about architecture. It's about an environment to build a community in. And mine and Carrie's community is about music. We are both musicians. This is a show where the Deep Dark Woods played in our house. It was filmed by a TV crew, and we filled our house with people that we knew and that we didn't know, and we had a great celebration. So here's the philosophy. Jane Jacobs, urbanist from the 1950s, wrote a book called Death and Life of Great American Cities. There's one thing I learned from that book. New ideas require old buildings. It's a necessity. We experienced that with our house in Caswell Hill, and I recognize that Riversdale has a host of old buildings, and it's a great place for new ideas. So we decided to do a little experiment in Riversdale. So let's try pitch this one to the bank. We're going to buy an old church. We're going to renovate it and rent it out to artists for studios, and we're actually going to pay the mortgage. The bank actually believed me on that one, and so we bought it. And in trying to bring it to life, Carrie and I, our solution to everything is throw a party. So this is what the party looked like. There were 15 different performers, from symphony to Adrian Stimson, visual artist, film, fiddle. The crowd was even more diverse. Again, there were residents, longtime residents, new people, kids from the east side that had never been in Riversdale. We tapped into this idea that there are amazing qualities of Riversdale that continue to keep us here. Number one, density. Not just of people, but of ideas. Density of housing. You have businesses, you have industrial lots, all these things all mashed up together in a way that planners would never design. Number two, Riversdale has diversity. Unbelievable diversity. And that is the beauty of it and the mosaic of it. Not just ethnic, but economic. It has diversity of buildings, of stock. There is so many little pieces to this neighborhood. That's what give it its life. Lastly, artists. Whether it's SNTC or La Troupe du Jour, the Symphony, or this kooky little project that Jeff did called the Museum of Temporary Art in the back alleys. There is this huge capacity here. So my vision for Riversdale is, how do we make Riversdale more of what Riversdale has always been? And my solution is the public spaces where we as a community interact and share ideas. Now, if we can't build a huge plaza like this, well, we don't quite have the space, so how about a little parklet? We can trade in one parking spot for a little parklet that can serve, in my math, 20 people at a time as opposed to one person at a time. That's good math. And that gives something back to the street and to the neighbors And I hope that we can actually bring this to life and make it happen this year, actually. Number 2, people ride bikes here, whether they want to or whether because they have to. They ride bikes, and it is treacherous. People ride on the sidewalk, and I don't blame them because the roads are crazy. Come on, let's just give up 1 lane of asphalt. There's 4 for cars. We'll take 1 away. Idea number 3. Okay, 4 words. Tiny home trailer park. That is how you can actually make tiny homes happen in Saskatoon. It's going to take a little bit of work with the city, but it's possible, and that could set a new bar for affordability. And if we're going to do tiny homes, how about a tiny trolley going up and down 20th Street? Because everyone's walking up and down 20th Street, whether they're going to Station 20 West or the farmer's market. We're allowed to have fun, right? We can have fun. This is good stuff. Lastly, my last vision, and this is building, 2 last things. Second last, makerspace. There is an unbelievable amount of entrepreneurship and ideas that are in this neighborhood. I think about Devin Fiddler and She Native. They're moving into our building, but I wish I had a more industrial space to give them to work within. We need a makerspace, and I know there's an old building in this neighborhood waiting to become that. Lastly, I'm going back to the arts. We have a couple of festivals. We need more. We need more to introduce the rest of the city to the amazing things that are happening in this neighborhood. That was from Nuit Blanche. Thank you very much.